All right, my lovelies, we're going to paint our backgrounds for our fish today. We're going to do the sand and we're going to do the water, and we're using liquid watercolors, and I need for you to be super careful not to get paint on your fish. And I need to talk to you about painting for just a second. So first off, for the water portion, I don't know if you can see this or not, but this says turquoise right here. This one says, let me tilt it without spilling it. This one says blue. You have a choice between turquoise or blue for your water, and I'll show you what those look like so you can make a decision. And then I have a color that I have mixed up for the sand portion of your fish paint, or for your fish picture rather, and I'll show you what that looks like too in a second. So the blue, and by the way, when you pick up a brush, you hold it like a pencil. So the blue looks like this. It's just your standard blue color, and then the turquoise looks like this. So it's a slightly different color. It's got a little bit more green in it. The sand looks like this. It is a super, super, super light brown. It's got a little bit of yellow in it. So those are the colors that you can use. So you're going to pick either blue or turquoise for the water, and everybody's going to use the same color for the sand. Okay, so I'm going to demonstrate real quick and let you see how you need to do this on your fish picture. Okay, for those of you that have bubbles, I have taken a white crayon and I have colored in the bubbles so that when we paint over them with the water, they will show up. So I'll show you how to do that in a minute. So sand, first off, is the color that is going to go down here underneath this line that we drew when we first started our fish picture. So you can see I'm kind of holding my paintbrush like a pencil, and I'm being very gentle with it, and I'm not mashing down super hard. And you can see that the bristles, which are the hairs of my paintbrush, are still stuck together and they're smooth. If you mash too hard, they start spreading out, and we do not want that to happen. So you can see the sand in my picture, so it's kind of a brown color, and when it dries it'll be a little bit lighter. It's got some darker spots because it's just really wet. Okay, now blue or turquoise for the water. I am going to use turquoise to show you, but you can choose blue if you want. So when you pick up your brush, again, you're holding it like a pencil, and let's try not to let it drip. And so that we don't let it drip, all you have to do is touch it on the inside of the cup and it will stop dripping. So you're going to take your brush and you are very carefully, very, very, very carefully going to paint around your fish, and you're going to paint over your name, and you are going to paint all the way down to the line where the sand is. And every time I go to get more paint, I am touching my brush on the inside of the cup so that my paint is not dripping all over my paper. We don't want to have drips, and I'll show you this. So I'm touching the inside of the cup just to let that extra paint fall down in there. Okay, so there's a lot of stuff that you have to do when you're painting. You don't mash down hard. We've got to be really careful that we keep the bristles together, and you want to make sure that you don't get watercolor all inside your fish, because you did such a great job coloring those with your markers. Okay, so now look, so I'm brushing over the bubbles, and I put white crayon, and the white crayon is really waxy, so the wax in the crayons does not let the paint stick to it. So it's called a resist, so it is resisting the paint so that those bubbles will still show up. So that's how that works, and I'm going to keep going until I finish painting my background of my fish. I'm almost done, and you can see how this looks when it's finished. Okay, so we have our blue or turquoise for the water, and if you had bubbles, those got resisted with that white crayon, and you've got sand color at the bottom, and this is what it looks like when it's finished.